All right, guys, we are live. Sorry, I was a few minutes late here, just working on a few things in the background. Somebody had sent me something at the very last minute, and I was trying to take a look at it before I came on. Hope everyone's well. A lot of stuff to go over today. I do think there's some key important things happening right now in the US that you should be paying attention to. If you're not familiar with what's going on this week, Jerome Powell, who is the Federal Reserve chair, basically has said that they're going to move policy when they decide policy should be moved, and Trump wants Jerome Powell to drop rates, and so there's this drama going back and forth between those two. And if somehow Trump can figure out a way to fire Jerome Powell, it could be catastrophic for markets. And I need to show you that information so you can be aware of that, because I think if in fact Jerome Powell somehow gets the boot early, markets are going to be very unstable for a brief period of time. We don't know how long that's going to be, and that might pose a opportunity for you if you're prepared. So I'm going to go through all that information today. Of course, I got Bitcoin updates. I got updates going around, XRP and some other stuff in the crypto space. So not a crazy long chat today, but some stuff that you should be paying attention to. So let's go ahead and get into it so I can help you better understand what's happening here. Let me throw on these headphones. All right, it's good to see everybody. What's going on? We got Ariana keeping the chat safe. Mark Lane's here. What's up, Mark? Good to see you. John, what's up, Mark? John, damn. What's up, Mark? What's up, John? What's up, Sean? JR, what's up, man? It's money time. Let's go. Moki Hill, what's up, Moki? Nice to see you. Outdoor Things, great to see you. Outdoor Things. We also have Maniac here. Great to see you. Glennis is here. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into this. So lots of things circulating around online right now. We're going to talk briefly about China here in just a little bit, but I want to first get into some other Bitcoin news, talking about Bitcoin's dominance and where we're, what we can expect over the next few months here. So we are still seeing an enormous amount of influential people from institutions talking about a very high price for Bitcoin. Let me go ahead and just play this clip for you real quick.
You bet your life it's not going to zero?
I used to tell people it could definitely go to zero to try and be, conservative. I don't think it's possible now. 50 million people in the U.S. own it, 300 million people globally. BlackRock and Fidelity are selling it. Like it really has reached escape velocity.
But you're 745,000. I mean, I heard 13 million from Michael Saylor the other day.
I think it can go. It's going up 3 orders of magnitude since we launched our fund. I think it could go up a fourth. And that puts it at 15 trillion market cap, which it still seems relatively small versus 500 trillion of financial assets.
All right. So, a lot of people think that Bitcoin can see, $600,000-700,000 $1 million I've seen. Probably not this cycle. I'd imagine if you get a $200,000 Bitcoin this cycle, it's actually that would be an incredible move. Realistically, on the low one, I've seen 125, 150, 200, 250. So anywhere in those areas would be really good for the crypto market. You also can notice if you're trying to be like, hey, what is the thing I should be looking at to really figure out if we are in a big bull market. And part of this you could do is check Coinbase's US App Store rank versus Bitcoin price. And as you can see, as Coinbase's app becomes, top 10 rank, you can see this is where Bitcoin, is hitting some just ridiculous numbers here. Coinbase, December 2024, top 10 ranked, 105,000 for Bitcoin. As you can see today, March 25th, Coinbase's rank is 108th. So you can basically tell retail is really not engaging yet fully into this. And we are seeing a dramatic increase in the money supply. And I talked to you about this last chat. This is really important to watch. This is money printing at its finest, right? This is the whole thing that, we've been making the argument of why crypto is probably a better choice for the economy than to just print money into infinity. But you are seeing the US, Japan, China, and Euro. Look at this chart for China, though. Seriously. I mean, have you seen a chart like this ever? Just straight up? Man, it is kind of crazy how things are going right now. And also, I wanted to better understand. I saw this, China's selling Bitcoin to buy gold. And actually, I believe this was a few months ago, but this was just updated yesterday. Reuters did a report on this April 16th that China really isn't that sold on Bitcoin. Very stark contrast from let's say the United States government, who thinks Bitcoin is going to solve all of our problems. The Chinese are saying, hey, we don't really want the stuff. So they are dumping it to actually buy the real store of value, which is gold. All right. A few other things I want to get into with Bitcoin here. New Bitcoin Network Activity Index is experiencing its largest drawdown since 2021 China mining ban, which means nobody is using the network. Imagine you have a network. So like this is why I get so frustrated when I hear people in power talking about Bitcoin is the only solution, and Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that. Nobody uses the network. Nobody uses the network. Let me repeat, right? Remember that whole thing with oh god, what was it? Bitcoin ordinals. Remember ordinals? And then they turned into oh man, I can't even remember. I mean, nobody is talking about this stuff, right? Nobody is talking about this stuff anymore. It had a big buzz, and then when it finally happened, everybody didn't care. The trade was over. People moved on. Metrics like active addresses, transactions, and block space demand indicate a significant slowdown in network activity. So basically, if we were, when I say we, I'm talking about the United States and other countries, if we were to start just buying Bitcoin because we think it's a solution, nobody's using the network. Okay. We are going to help make even richer people that are either multimillionaires or billionaires already. The average person doesn't own any Bitcoin. Bitcoin is 85,000 per token. Most people, the average person doesn't make $85,000 in an entire year. All right. So I just don't think this is the answer. And I think if we have more people standing up and demanding more, hopefully that'll happen. What I think is happening here is you are seeing people with a lot of money, like stupid money, that bought Bitcoin, 2011, 2012, that can afford to send senators and Congress people million, 2 million, 5 million, because if they get their way, right, and the US is buying Bitcoin for them so they can dump on the US or dump on retail investors, they're going to make a whole lot more than they put in. And that's what they're trying to do here, if you haven't noticed. A lot of people are saying altcoin season could be coming up here very soon. Big swings, big winners. Obviously we need to see Bitcoin dominance drop. I did pull this up here just so you understand where Bitcoin dominance is today. 62.9. Let's just refresh this, make sure I have accurate data here for you. 62.9 is what Bitcoin dominance is now. Let me just show you here 30-day all chart. Let's see here. Doesn't really go back. January 01, January 1. This is a pretty shitty chart. Anyways, you want Bitcoin dominance to drop below, 25, 30%. And then that's really when things can start, picking up, hopefully. All right. And then, of course, here, a chart here, the sell zone and the buy zone. If you're buying and selling Bitcoin or other crypto assets, everyone has a different way of doing this, but if you can buy low, sell high, obviously that's what you want to do. I did think this was an interesting clip here. Some analysts and Bitcoin bulls are predicting much higher Bitcoin prices this year, right? It's hard to imagine, a $200,000 Bitcoin right now in April, but fast forward 2-3 months and who knows?
If I imagine a scenario that brings us to very high prices this calendar year, it would probably be because some massive liquidity unlock happened. Like, let's say the U.S. bond market broke, the Fed came in and basically did yield curve control, or kind of QE that they don't really want to be doing, or some sort of big treasury operation twist sort of thing. It would probably take something like that combined with some sort of de-escalation of tariffs. So I never really rule out what Bitcoin's doing. I look at a couple of things. One is I think liquidity is probably going to be somewhat favorable for the rest of the year. And two, if you look at certain valuation metrics, I like to look at the market cap to realized cap ratio, which is market capitalization compared to the average on-chain cost basis. And this current consolidation has taken off a lot of the hype around it. So if you look at the prior consolidation, so Bitcoin reached 73,000 in March 2024. That ratio got a little bit elevated. So it wasn't elevated to the point of like prior like multi-year tops, but it was a little bit heated. And so after about a 7-month consolidation, it pretty much worked off all of that excessive valuation, that excessive hype, kind of allowed the market to consolidate. Then when it jumped to like, 108K, it kind of reached similar frothy levels. And so the fact that we've been consolidating for several months, not particularly surprising. I think we worked off a lot of that valuation already. So I think we're at a pretty strong foundation to at least start building from, especially once we get past maybe near-term stock market shocks and things like that.
That's right. Well, thank you so much for that. It's always so great to talk to you, Lynn. I really do hope everyone reads your report.
All right, keep going here. Really quickly, if you are listening right now and you are a Cryptonaires member, I shared some stuff in Ultra Bull chat. Go read that now. I'm going to go over that information here in about maybe 20 minutes. So it gives you enough time to research what I just posted. I posted the contract address. I posted a project. It was sent to me by somebody that's been in our community for a while. And, I want to support them. So, but I'm letting you know here right now that if you want access before I bring it up in this chat live for everybody, if you are a member, go check Ultra Bull chat right now. Okay. Cryptonaires members. All right. Let me get back to this. If you're not familiar with what Cryptonaires is, guys, sorry about that. That's my community. I've had it since 2021. When I get information sent to me by friends and colleagues that I've built in the crypto space, I share that information right away with my community. And I haven't had time to fully dive into this thing because it was sent to me literally like 5 minutes before I came on. But I wanted to at least give the people that are paying every month to be in my community the option to get into that. I think the market cap is really low on that thing. Hold on, let me just pull it up really quickly to see what the market cap of this project is. The market cap on this project right now is $51,000 market cap. It's 51K. It's brand new project. I don't even think it's graduated on Pump Fund. Okay, just giving you the context. Hold on, let me see if there's anything I need to share else with the community here. Okay, yeah, here, I need to share this too real quick. Boom. All right, now everybody has all my information that I need to share with them. Boom. Okay. All right. Let's keep it going here. Let's keep it going. Member, if you're a member, yeah, go check right now, Jeffrey. If you're a member of Cryptonaires, go check Ultra Bull. Trends is a thing, y'all. I mean, I wasn't even thinking about that when I originally first heard the clip until you said something, but I don't really care about that kind of stuff, man. Everybody has, everybody's different. Whether you like this or you like that, I don't really give a shit. If you got good information to share, I don't care what you, what your God is or what you worship or what it is. I don't really care about that kind of stuff. All right, let's keep it going. Let us keep it going. All right, here we go. It does look like Tau is looking to make some moves here. If you're not familiar with what Tau is a really big staple in the AI space. It actually is built on utility. There's a whole marketplace where these different AI products are being bought, sold, and built. And so this person is basically saying if we can get over 280,000, that could be the breakout that Tau needs to get up to about $470, $480. If you're interested in taking a look at that, there might be a setup for Tau. All right. So, let's better understand what's happening between the U.S. president and the chair, the head of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell. I think he has like another year and 2 months left on his bid. But here is the frustration between the two parties. Okay. So President Trump, let me go through this with you and I'll give you all the context that you need so you can better understand this. So President Trump tweeted this out. I think it was either like a few days ago, but it says the ECB is expected to cut interest rates for the 7th time. And yet too late, Jerome Powell of the Fed, who is always too late and wrong, yesterday issued a report which was another and typical complete mess. Oil prices are down, grocery, even eggs are down. So this is actually not accurate information. I'll show you that in a second too. But oil prices are down a smidge in some states and up in some states. Too late. It says too late. Should have lowered interest rates like the ECB long ago, but he should certainly lower them now. Powell's termination cannot come fast enough. So Trump is actively trying to fire Jerome Powell. All right, and here are the actual real egg prices. If you are interested, this person is mentioning that eggs are up 5.6% in March, hitting all-time record highs for a dozen of eggs. Eggs have never been priced higher. So some of the information that Trump was providing there is not quite accurate, but all good. Oil prices on Tuesday were down a bit. And so this is saying that down 0.3% in the United States here. And then you also have the European Central Bank cuts interest rates by 25 basis points for the 7th consecutive cut. And then President Trump accuses Fed Jerome Powell of playing politics and says that interest rates should be coming down now. Okay, so if you're not familiar with this, right, the reason the Fed is choosing not to lower interest rates right now is because they have been trying to combat inflation. And if you lived over the last 4 years, and you bought groceries or anything, you understand that when we had higher inflation, things cost more money. Okay. And just as we were getting to that sweet spot of around 2%, I think we're around 2.5, 2.6% in March. As we were getting to that sweet spot, here comes tariffs. Okay. And tariffs can be inflationary. And so because inflation probably will start ticking up, right? It all depends on how long the tariffs are put in place, how high the tariffs are, right? And there was just, a 90-day pause on most countries. And there's all of this stuff that the Fed doesn't have good enough data to start lowering rates in the United States. All right. And so I don't think the Fed is playing politics here. I think they are doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is leaving all of the politics out. If the president could influence the Federal Reserve's decisions, that would be catastrophic for all markets, right? Because I think you should just leave the decision making on the policy of the United States to the people that have been doing this their whole lives. But anyways, Europe is cutting rates. Trump has also said Powell is terrible and Fed officials. But anyways, here is not my favorite person in the world. Not my favorite person in the world. But what she says here is accurate. Let me play this.
But I really want to make a pitch here for a second about the importance of Powell staying in his job. Look,
and it's unusual coming from you. You're very critical of him.
I have tangled with him on a regular basis about both regulations and interest rates. But understand this. If Chairman Powell can be fired by the President of the United States, it will crash the markets in the United States. The infrastructure that keeps this stock market strong, and therefore a big part of our economy strong, and therefore a big part of the world economy strong, is the idea that the big pieces move independent of the politics, that somebody is making her best decisions economically and independently. We understand that if the New York Stock Exchange, if interest rates in the United States are subject to a president who just wants to wave his magic wand, this doesn't distinguish us then from any other two-bit dictatorship around the world where everyone knows what your big investment risk is. Will that dictator wake up in the morning and have a tummy ache and decide to cause this problem or favor that friend? That's why we need to strengthen the infrastructure.
But I know you are not the president, but you have also been very vocal in terms of wanting.
All right. Anyways, you see it's a freaking mess. Okay. So if you take a look at some of the oh God, what are these things called where they're, betting markets, 25% chance that actually Jerome Powell gets removed. And if you actually listen, this was back in, I think, November is when this question was asked to Jerome Powell. Take a listen.
I guess the other question is to follow up on Victoria's question. Do you believe the president has the power to fire or demote you, and has the Fed determined the legality of a president demoting at will any of the other governors with leadership positions?
Not permitted under the law.
Not what?
Not permitted under the law.
Thank you.
All right, so he's saying that Trump can't fire him, okay? But I want you to understand, if you see Jerome Powell getting fired or something, or he resigns or steps down due to pressure, that is the sign to, okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I can't tell you what you should do. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor, but if I see Jerome Powell being forcibly removed, I'm going to exit some of my positions, because like, you could be talking about a total market collapse before somebody else is put in there. And this is really a sticky situation. So please keep what you're seeing here in mind. I know that maybe some people aren't even thinking that this could be a vital piece in the bond market, the stock markets, or the crypto markets, but please keep that in mind. All right. Also, the number of Americans working multiple jobs jumped by 76,000 in March to a record 8.94 million. This now exceeds 2019 high by over 500,000 people. As a share of employment, multiple job holders rose 5.5 to the highest since 2009. This comes as 28.47 million people work part-time jobs in the U.S., the third highest on record. Millions of Americans are working multiple jobs to afford basic necessities. This is the reason I've been trying to educate you that the average retail investor doesn't have any money. The average retail investor is having to work multiple jobs right now, unlike any other time in history. They're having to work multiple jobs to afford basic necessities. All right. And then, of course, Ford announces that they have halted shipments to China to avoid tariffs. Right. And so you start to wonder, if Ford is doing this, what other companies are going to not be able to send their products overseas due to tariffs. Now, I want you to understand something. A part of this is, I guess, to bring manufacturing jobs back to the United States. I was listening to something really interesting earlier. Did you know the iPhone has 1,800 different pieces into it from trade rails? So if you're putting an iPhone together, there's 1,800 different things that need to come to support the iPhone being put together and built in China. And getting all of that stuff ready took decades. Okay. It took like, I think 15 years or 20 years to design. And then it took another 15 or 20 years to get all of the, shipping and all of the different pieces. And so like, what I'm trying to say is this: certain countries are set up to put things together, right? They might not be, China is not the most, how would you put this? Like Taiwan makes the best computer chips that the world sees. And those will go into like missiles and your phones, your TVs and your fridges and all these really important gadgets, right? China is kind of like the place where a lot of this stuff gets put together. It might not be the place that builds all of the intricate pieces, but it comes and it gets assembled in China because the world has been set up like that. Okay. Now, if we're trying to change all of that, it's going to take years. It might even take a decade in order to rearrange all of this stuff. So if the demand is, we want to bring manufacturing back to the United States, we need to be prepared that we're not going to see the fruits of that labor for at least 2 to 4 years at the minimum. And of course, 5 to 10 years. And it could actually be longer. Foreign investors are dumping U.S. stocks at a rapid pace. Investors from overseas withdrew $6.5 billion from U.S. equity funds over the last week, the second largest amount on record. Okay, we have not seen, we've only seen this one other time in history where you're having billions of dollars being sucked out of, this is what America does best, right? Stocks, bonds, derivatives, financial services, products. That's what we do best. And when the rest of the world isn't buying what we are selling, instead that they are dumping it, that becomes a huge, huge problem. Net outflows were only below the 7.5 billion seen during March of the 2023 banking crisis. So the only other time that this has happened this bad was the banking crisis, where banks didn't have money, basically, right? And the government had to go bail some of those banks out, like Silicon Valley Bank. Remember that? Crazy stuff. According to Apollo, foreigners own a massive 18.5 trillion of US stocks and 20% of the total equity market. And right now we're pissing off the world, right? And yes, there might be some good that comes out of this, but be prepared for this pain. There's going to be a lot of pain. All right. Moreover, foreign holdings of US treasuries are at 7.2 trillion, or 30% of the total. Investors from abroad still hold 30% of total corporate credit market, for a total of 4.6 trillion, right? What would happen if this starts getting dumped as well? This is why the bond market rates are moving up substantially. The U.S. has accused Chinese firms of helping Yemenis Houthis target American warships. Now you add an even more complex onto what's going on globally. It looks like China might be giving either missiles and satellites control to bomb U.S. warships, which is a big, big deal. All right. This is you're even starting to see some of this stuff and Chinese mercenaries in Ukraine, believe it or not. So China has engaged on the world stage against the United States. And I think this is why Trump is going so hard at China right now, is because they're trying to assert dominance, and Trump's fighting back. All right. Global investors have rarely been this bearish. A record 50% of institutional investors intend to reduce U.S. equity exposure, according to a Bank of America study released this week on Monday. Allocation of U.S. stocks fell 13 percentage points over the last month to a net 36% underweight, the lowest since the banking crisis in March. Since February, investors' allocation to U.S. equities has dropped by 53 percentage points, making it the second largest 2-month decline on record. Okay. This chart looks like it goes back to 01. So I don't know if that is the record that they're talking about here, or maybe it's this chart just goes to 01. It says, moreover, a record 82% of respondents are now accepting the world economy to weaken. So, 8 out of 10 people understand what's going on, and they are acting accordingly. They are taking their money out of U.S. markets because they are unsure how things are going to go. As a result, global investor sentiment fell to 1.8 points, the fourth lowest record since 2008, which was the financial crisis. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to get into it too much. I know people are really passionate about this subject. It's difficult to put this information together and bring it up every week, because I know it pisses off some people, but facts are facts. All we can do is understand what's going on and try to act accordingly. All we can do, man. And I thought this was a hilarious meme. Check this out. Why? If Doge has found billions of dollars in fraud and abuse, why haven't there been any arrests? I thought this was pretty funny, right? Because I think there's a lot of people that believe Doge really hasn't found too much fraud and abuse, because if they did, I mean, they would have perp walked anybody that was caught committing fraud or abuse in the U.S. system. That's just my personal opinion, but 783,000 views. This is actually a pretty popular meme floating around right now. All right, let's get to this. So I have been telling you for quite some time that Ripple is not going to IPO in 2025. And I knew that was a pretty unpopular opinion, because a lot of people thought the complete opposite. But if you were listening, if you were paying attention, you would have had the same conclusions I would. And now here's Brad Garlinghouse telling you why Ripple is not going to IPO in 2025.
The reality, most companies that go public do that to raise capital. Mm-hmm. We haven't needed to raise capital, and so that has not been a driving force. We have talked a little bit about, would we go public? And it's like, well, the U.S. market until recently has been very hostile, and like, why would we even try to have that conversation? I mean, I guess the exact answer to the question, will we IPO in 2025? I think that's a definitive no. Okay. We're in 2025, and it certainly takes a little bit of time to get there. But I also think you have to ask yourself, okay, how does Ripple benefit from being a public company? And, therefore, is it a high priority for us? So what we've said is there's no imminent plans to go public. I will acknowledge that a change in the SEC in the United States, as he said earlier, as conditions change, you never say never, and you reevaluate as you.
All right. So basically what you're having here is Ripple needs a good market to IPO, and they don't need money, right? Usually companies IPO because they need money. Brad just told you that they don't need money. And I think Ripple can do more being a private company than being a public company. I think when you're a public company, you have more eyes on you. You have the shareholders you have to report to. And I mean, even Ripple being a private company, I'm sure they have to do some type of reporting for shareholders, but I think that they have more flexibility on where they want to take the company. So just crazy stuff. Let me see here what y'all saying in the comments. Let me just take a break here, answer some of your questions. What's up, Ben? Good to see you, man. No Americans' number one issue is that America has gone from an industrial economy to a consumer economy. Know the facts. Okay, interesting. And what was your point there? Let's see here. KMK says, I don't think anything major is going to happen to the stock and crypto market. It will dip a bit, but then do what it always has done, make a big correction. I think you're right, MK. I think, no matter what, eventually it'll go back up. We just don't know how long that's going to take. Well said. Well said. Let me see here. Powell is horrible. I mean, I don't know. The US was able to bring inflation down faster than every other country. I don't understand how you could say that Powell is horrible. Maybe Powell hasn't done what you want him to do, which is lower rates. But compared to his other counterparts in all of these other first world countries, he was actually the best. So not quite sure, what the personal feeling is against Powell there, but I think a little bit inaccurate that he's the worst, because technically when you look at the numbers, he's actually the best. Now, might not like what he does, but still. All right. What am I going to do with all these XRPs? I mean, most people are going to save them. Wait. Only thing you can do, like right now, you're in a strictly speculation market. And let's be honest, people are not speculating. People are leaving the market right now. Now, I don't know what's going to take to bring those people back. Obviously, an end to the trade war will definitely help. Lowering rates would probably help. But like, I think people need to be careful of what they ask for here, right? You do realize lowering rates and printing money again is the reason we had like 4 years of high inflation, right? You guys realize that, hopefully. So are we just going to be back into that same situation? Yes, we will be. So I don't know. Hard to say what's going to happen there. I don't have money. I don't have money for a family of 5 here. George, you're not alone, man. You are not alone. It's tough, man. Sorry to hear that. XRP's time will come and go moon. A little profit would be nice to keep us XRP holders motivated. I feel you, man. I completely agree with you. I'm on your side. I want to see us win. There is a game plan. Too bad for China. Hey, like it would be crazy if there wasn't a game plan, right? Like that would be insane. Let's hope there's a game plan. Can't stake XRP in pools, too risky. So Kevin, there is staking coming to the XRP ledger through both Flare F assets and mainnet staking. We actually have been getting more and more information on that, and I do share those in my videos if you're interested, but it is coming. Yeah, Flare and mainnet staking is coming. Absolutely. George says it's rough, man, but I'll keep on persisting. Thanks for the content. Absolutely, man. I think, listen, it's hard to say one way or another. I hope it all works out for us. Like, I think there's a lot of people that are really hoping it all works out. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, let's get back to it, and I'll get back to your questions here in just a little bit. A few other things that we need to discuss here. We do have a digital euro timeline just to give you some updated information. I just made a video on this earlier, so I'm pretty well caught up on the ECB's plans here. So what's actually happening here is they've already decided on, you know, the technology. They've already decided on what they want to do, but what they need is they need Parliament. I think it's Parliament. In the EU, is it Parliament or is it called something else? Anyways, the EU's version of Congress needs to update laws that would allow a CBDC to be created, right? So that is what they're waiting for. Here's Christine Lagarde actually saying those exact same words to a certain extent. Let me play this.
We have a cutoff date, which is October. So October 2025, my governing council has to decide whether we move forward or not. So that's an important date. My strong hope is that by then, the European Parliament has passed the legislation that will support the technological work, the policy work, the unified rule book that we are working on, so that we can launch. We have a cutoff date, which is October. So October 2025.
They have a cutoff date, October 2025. We'll have more information then. All right. So Hashkey Group. Actually, I had somebody reach out from the Hashkey Group. I don't know if this is the like marketing company. They wanted to talk to me maybe about this, but this could be widely beneficial for institutional adoption on the XRP ledger. Let me explain. The Hashkey XRP Tracker Fund just launched Asia's first investment vehicle tracking XRP's performance. This opens up a major gateway for institutional investors. This fund targets professional investors, letting them gain XRP exposure without direct crypto custody. This addresses a key barrier for institutional adoption. Investors can use cash or in-kind contributions and redeem shares monthly. XRP stands out as one of the most innovative cryptocurrencies, attracting global enterprises who use it to transact, tokenize, and a store of value. It's super funny. When I read this in the when I was doing a video earlier, I was going through this information in the video. And what I thought was interesting here is, you know, when we talk about Bitcoin, Bitcoin is just a store of value. It doesn't really have too many other use cases. But XRP, you can use it to transact, you can use it to tokenize, and you can use it as a store of value. So, you know, this is what frustrates me. Like, why is the US so focused on Bitcoin where it really doesn't have a future outside of speculation, right? That's all it is used for and is good for. Why not use something like XRP, HBAR, right? Algorand, something that actually has real utility. I have no idea why the people in power don't make these connections. The fund is benchmarked by a CF benchmark, the same entity supporting major ETFs across US, Asia, and Pacific market. This adds credibility and reliability for institutional investors wanting regulated crypto exposures. Fiona Murray, Ripple's managing director for APAC, noted institutional investors are eager to access regulated products around the world, and this is exactly what Hashkey XRP Tracker Fund will deliver. But this fund isn't just a standalone product. It is part of a deeper strategic partnership. Hashkey and Ripple will collaborate on the developing a more investment products across, this is a tough one, across cross-border payments. Not used to seeing across back to back. DeFi and enterprise blockchain adoption. They've been exploring the possibility of tokenizing a money market fund on the XRP ledger, showing their commitment to practical blockchain applications beyond just investment vehicles. So we understand that products like ETFs, ETPs are a very popular way to invest. It is one of the most popular, if not the most popular way to invest today. So when you're talking about bringing these funds, right, when you're talking about the stock and the moving the bond and the derivative market to blockchain, you're talking about moving these ETFs and these funds to blockchain. This will help provide liquidity in these, where these particular funds wind up. And we have to understand when it comes to institutional level adoption, they are looking to tokenize funds on Ethereum and on XRP and some other assets like that. Hashkey Capital has already established itself in the Asian market with Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs launched in partnership with Bosera. The XRP Tracker Fund builds on the track record of creating regulated crypto products. Earlier this year, JP Morgan predicted that the US-approved XRP ETF could attract $8 billion in inflows initially. That is in the first 12 months, showing the massive untapped demand. Now, I want to ask you a question, because I was going through this data earlier, and I was thinking to myself, there seems to be more demand than I think XRP is getting credit for right now for an ETF. I mean, if you look at the market, right, we have Bitcoin ETFs, which were very, very popular, Ethereum ETFs, which were, not as popular. And, now you have what? Solana, Doge, ETFs, XRP ETFs. You have all of these different ETFs now being pushed forward. But XRP clearly has more demand for it, right? And I actually have, did I bring it with me? Yes, I did. Here. This is the current demand for an XRP ETF, okay? Institutions, products. You don't see this. You don't see this with other ETFs other than, Bitcoin, right? Look at how many different companies there are. It's an enormous, and this is not including all of them. This is when we're all said and done here, we could be looking at 40, 50, 100 different products across, 10, 15, 20 different institutions. BlackRock, JP Morgan Chase, right? Bank of America. I'd imagine, Merrill Lynch. I'd imagine some of these institutions are going to either want to get access through some of these partners, maybe like Franklin Templeton, maybe Bitwise or Grayscale. I'd imagine they're trying to get access for their customers because the demand certainly is here. All right. A few other things I want to talk with you guys about. This is just, I think, more of the same stuff that we just went over, right? Crypto Era is just reposting this. This is about the hashtags thing, hash key, excuse me. We did talk about ETFs. I did want to point this out. I know some of you guys are trading and holding, certain ISO tokens or tokens that you think have utility down the line. I saw this IOTA staking with 10 to 15% APY coming in 2025. It looks like this is either here now or, coming. I know Smoke just posted about this, but he's bringing up his post from late 2024. But let me show you this real quick.
Now, over the next couple of weeks, we're going to have some very exciting announcements of new professional staking pools and large institutional players that are going to come onto the IOTA network, and we'll begin to validate, or we'll begin to offer the validation service to the network. The way that we're going to see this is that it will be professional staking pools. It will be strategic partners, including governments that we're working with to become validators on the network as well. And it will also be you guys, right? It will be the community that will be encouraged to set up staking pools. And so I think here we can take a lot of inspiration from Cardano, because I think Cardano has done a really, really amazing job in building up these staking pools that are fully community run, right? And where the staking rewards are then being distributed to different causes. Right?
All right. I do think Cardano is going to be one of the best performing assets in this bull market. So just keep that in mind. XRP IOTA interoperability, right? We have seen this throughout the years. Different connections. This person is Smoke saying Elon's progress on robotics was your first sign to load up on IOTA. Excuse me. Robotics plus AI plus Internet of Things together. These tech developments will shoot IOTA to $100+ billion market cap. What is IOTA's market cap? Let me look. IOTA. 590. So this would be, you're talking about roughly 185x, 180x, if in fact they are correct at $100 billion market cap. I mean, look at back here in 2017. Imagine buying this in 2017 and missing this initial sell, $5.30. Holy shit. And then look, flatline. In 2021, this got up to about $2, $2.30, and just rough. 125 to 419, and then kind of died here towards the end, and hasn't really done much of anything since 2022. All right. I thought this was pretty cool. Crypto Erie had brought this to the attention. I actually missed it. I think this was kind of going on when I was, dealing with my surgery stuff. And so there are 6 new stable coins that were just launched on the XRP ledger. I totally missed this, right? Holy smokes. What are we talking about here? US dollar, of course, Great British Pound. I think this is the Rand, right? South African Rand. This is probably NGN. Is that a Nigerian currency? What currency is NGN? The Naira? Naira. Okay. All right. We good. We good. Euro and AUD, Australian dollar. So all of these stable coins were added by Zago, right? And I was like, Zago, I've heard this name before. And I think Zago is based out of, send and receive money with Zago's innovative cross-border money transfer solution designed to reduce costs. Oh my God, I hate this bot. I hate this bot. Any page you go to, this thing pops up. So hard to close. Okay. So here you can see all of these different currencies all running on the XRP ledger. Now, what is really cool and unique about this is just one company, right? Imagine where this is going to be 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months down the line. How many other companies and institutions are going to launch their own stablecoins on the XRP ledger? I even saw, I didn't really trust what I saw today, so I didn't bring it up. But somebody was posting like a CoinGape article about Bank of America getting into stablecoins, and I mean, I think we've already established that Bank of America is very interested in creating probably their own stablecoin, and that will most likely be very similar to, I would imagine, RLUSD, which is Ethereum compatible and XRP compatible. All right, looks like Cointelegraph did another hit piece on the XRP ledger. So I don't support Cointelegraph. And if you do support them, you might want to better understand why they are doing this. I have no idea, but this was not the first time they've actually made a hit piece about XRP. I think they're more really, I think these guys are more, is that Arthur Brito's photo? Really? I always wonder what Arthur Brito looked like. I think they're more Bitcoin focused, but who knows? There was also this: if you're in blockchain and if you want to go with the odds of success based on stats by a large margin, go to Stanford, MIT, or Berkeley. So if you have kids right now and those kids are getting to the age of applying for colleges or getting ready to do that stuff, and they're interested in blockchain, this is the best schools to send your kid to. Obviously, I think a lot of people are like, oh, Stanford, of course, MIT. Oh yeah, Berkeley. Yeah. I like Berkeley on here. Bay Area. I think is MIT's East Coast, right? I can't remember where MIT is, but I think it's East Coast. Stay in the US for funding, right? So this is just showing you that if you want to be in the blockchain space, California might be the place to go. Beautiful, beautiful place. All right, let's get into some of your questions, guys. I was wondering, should I bring up that project? I mean, I haven't really given enough time to my community to get into that thing if they want to. So I'm not going to bring it up. I'll bring it up on Tuesday. I'll bring that up on Tuesday. Anyways, what else we got here? Free speech. Good to see you, man. Thank you for being here. Whales are what fish and octopus sell. Hold on. What's up, Crew Dog? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Hey, did you see the like China's been putting about like all those videos about creating like all like the fancy bags that are sold? I was watching some video. I don't know if it was on Twitter or if it was on YouTube, but like Chinese manufacturers are talking about how they build like a lot of the world's luxury. I don't know if it's real, like if it's propaganda, or if it's legit. I mean, it looked pretty legit to me, but we'll have to see what happens there. Let's see here. Tales of the Unexpected. I love the name. Great name. They're going to use Stellar. They said it at the WEF meetings at a bigger event this year. What are we talking about, Tails? What are they going to use with Stellar? Sensei Zeus had a question about tokenized insurance. Let's see here. Zeus. How far up was it? I think next time I'm going to have you, what's it called, Ariana, so you can star stuff, come in and just work in the background. Let me see here. Zeus, can you send me the comment, Ariana, on Discord? I'll read it and I'll see if I can answer it. I don't know where his comment is. I don't think it's betting against the USA or Trump. I would never bet against the USA for anything. You know, I think we still need to look at the data and keep an open mind, though. You know, I think a lot of people, instead of doing that, looking at the data and keeping an open mind, they just immediately go to, I'll believe whatever this person is telling me, even though what they're telling me might not be accurate, right? Most politicians lie to you, whether they're on the left or the right side. Let's see here. What do you know about tokenized insurance? Is that the question? Not much. I mean, there's not real. I mean, are we talking about car insurance? Are we talking about insurance for like custody and banks? What type of insurance? Because there is like a ton of different types, and I don't want to just ramble on about something. What type of insurance are we talking about? Yeah, Zeus. I still can't see it. Like, I still can't see. I can't search Zeus's name and pull up his comments. I wish it was that easy. Let's see here. I'm trying to find his comment. That was the question, just about insurance in general. I mean, I don't know what is the benefit of bringing insurance on blockchain. Let's take a look here. Hold on. Tokenized. Let's see here. Let's see if there's anything around XRP about this. Talks about Medico, tokenization, payments, liquidity, digital asset insurance. So if they're talking about digital asset insurance, that's when banks are going to want to custody crypto assets. Okay. But it's a lot of risk to do that. So most banks are going to go to like Fireblocks or Ripple for those custody solutions, and banks will probably be required to have insurance on those assets. All right. But I don't think you're going to be buying like your, AFLAC insurance or whatever it is on blockchain anytime soon. I'd imagine there's probably going to be a marketplace for all that stuff, but like, I don't think it's a very big priority, right? Like payments, quadrillion-dollar problem. Understandable. Insurance, not so much. So I'd imagine it'll happen, just not quite there yet. Curtis, what's up? Nothing crazy. We talked about, the feud this week is between Jerome Powell and Trump. And I was, going through some of that data and information to prepare people. If in fact, Powell is forcibly removed somehow, that could be pretty bad for markets momentarily. So you just want to make sure you're watching that and react appropriately. There might be a good buying opportunity there too, as people panic. Right? People will panic sell, right? Not everybody thinks like you. You have to imagine the way that you think. Half of the people, that you surround yourself with think the complete opposite of how you think. So keep that in mind. I know we all like to think that we have an opinion and everybody believes our opinion or whatever. No, can't be further from the truth. All right, Stephanie, thank you for being a member. Let me get to your question first here. Jake Claver has a video posted today that touches on tokenizing all kinds of things and also includes insurance. Well, that's where the question came from. I'll have to watch that. Jake Claver knows his stuff. Jake Claver is a really smart guy. If he's talking about it, I'll have to watch that. ZBCN. Let's see what ZBCN is. Is that a real project? ZBCN. Zabik Network. I don't think I've ever heard of this. Zabra is migrating to ZBCN. Hold on, let's look at Dex Screener. ZBCN. Why are they migrating? 79 million. Liquidity is 128K. Like, I don't know. This scares me. When I see liquidity at 128K, I get a little worried here. For $80 million? Yikes. I don't know. I don't know anything about this, to be quite frank with you. I'm not going to spend too much time trying to search for something that may or may not be a scam. I don't know. Sorry. What's up, Glenn? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. What's going on? XRP 10K incoming? Man, wouldn't that be the day? I would have the best job in the world if XRP was $10,000 tomorrow. Think of all the cool stuff. Like I could probably get away with traveling around the world and staying with people in like their new luxurious mansions or yachts, whatever people are going to buy, right? That'd be kind of fun. I definitely down with that. Wondering why no one is talking about what happens if Ripple can't sell to institutions if they don't get the SEC to remove that. So it's not the SEC that needs to remove that. It's the judge. It was a judge order. Remember? It wasn't the SEC. The judge made the decision. So I think that's what they're trying to do right now is get the judge to reverse and change that stuff, right? I think that's what they're working on right now. So, and what you're talking about here is Ripple selling XRP to institutions, nothing else. I think you might be getting them mixed up. Like, oh, Ripple maybe can't sell their products to institutions. All it is XRP. XRP that is unlocked from the escrow. They were selling that obviously to, fund the operations and things like that. Just like how Vitalik Buterin sells Ethereum all the time. Yeah. All right. 3T Warrior Academy Coach JV has an investor insurance. Okay. What's up? Thank you, man. Aloha, my brother. Shoots. How's it? Sabrina. Hey, Sabrina. Sabrina's in the house. Good to see you, Sabrina. I think it collapsed and then it got taken over. Anytime something collapses, guys, might be time to move on to something else, right? Like, crypto is a very large space, and I cannot tell you what to do. I can tell you from experience when I've seen something either collapse or rug, but not, we're not using the word rug, and they change the name to something else, you still probably have the same people that caused the issue in the first place there. So what are we trying to do here? Let me see here. A big ocean yacht and an island would be something. Hey, sign me up, man. Let me know where your island is and where your yacht is. I will be there. I will be there. That'd be really cool. I would love that. Let's see. What do you know about earning yield on XRP? And who would you custody your crypto with? Hey, Peter, great question. So there's two parts here, right? So earning yield with XRP. So there are different ways people can earn yield, whether it's through like AMMs or now that staking is coming, right? There's probably some less mainstream ways to make money with XRP. Like I know there's something like Moonacy, right? Here, let me show you this. I did a video on Moonacy recently, and people actually really like this. So here is a way some people are generating yield from providing liquidity, right? Generate daily income by providing liquidity to Moonacy. And Moonacy allows you actually to provide XRP. And so I noticed that, there's actually, I put a video out I don't know, like 3 or 4 days ago, I think, recently. And people are already kind of dipping their toe to test this out and seeing. Here, let me get you this video if you're interested in taking a look at this. But this is one way you could earn rewards, I guess you'd say. I always start with something low though. Like I think people tend to go a little crazy. Here, this is the video. 7,600 views 3 days ago. And then I think I have, if you're interested in taking a look at this, yeah, I have a referral code here. Here, if you're interested. But I am making some money every day with Munacy. That's pretty cool. So that's one way. But realistically, staking is coming through Flare and through mainnet. So what you want to understand though, when you're staking or locking up anything, is you need to understand how long is it locked up for, right? What is the unlock? So like, let's say something happened to you tomorrow, like God forbid you get into an accident and your assets need to be liquidated. I mean, this is something like super, at the end of the spectrum. But let's say you have to liquidate your assets because family emergency, something happens. If your crypto is locked up in a staking contract of some kind, there might not be any way to unlock it instantly. Or if there is a way to unlock it instantly, you're probably paying 10, 20, 30% fee to have that unlocked instantly. I've seen staking unlocks as low as a day, instantly, or I've seen staking unlocks could be like a year or 2 years. So you really want to better understand, what are the requirements and what is going to take to get your money back. But I think you're going to have a lot more better options, Peter, in the very near future. I wouldn't rush into anything. I always, a rule of thumb for me and myself is anytime I'm trying something new, it doesn't matter if somebody's telling me about it, like a friend or family member or a project reaching out, I often put a very small amount in, see if it actually works, take that out. And if all of that works pretty well, then I can start increasing my risk. But believe me, it's all risk. No matter what you're doing, if you're giving your XRP to somebody else to do something with it, and in return, they're giving you 5, 10, 20%, whatever it is, that all comes with risk. And be prepared to lose what you're putting in there if something goes wrong. Okay. There is no one you can call. It is done. Be careful. All right. And then who would I custody crypto with? That's a great question. So self-custody, always the most popular thing. Okay. Some people are a little uncomfortable with transferring crypto back and forth, and they don't want to do that. And so some people will pick an exchange or brokerage to keep their crypto on. Now, there's pros and there are cons. Con being the biggest one is if something happens to that brokerage or exchange, you could lose all your money. Okay. Because if you don't control that crypto, somebody else does. Okay. And I think that's what you saw with FTX. They were dipping into customer accounts and using their crypto to, pay for their lifestyle. Okay. So, the only place that I feel comfortable, and I mean, it's just me personally right now, to leave crypto on like overnight where I'm not sweating and tripping, Coinbase. Coinbase is not an exchange though. It's a brokerage. And I've never had a problem with Coinbase. I know some people say, oh, I've had a problem, this and that. They've always been good to me. And anytime I've ever had an issue, I've been able to get in touch with somebody at Coinbase to solve that issue pretty quick. So I hope that was helpful. What up, Sabrina? Good to see you. How you doing? Do you think your money is safer in a 401k or crypto? Andrew, I think if you've taken a look around at the stock market in recent weeks or recent months, you can see that regardless if it's in the crypto market or the stock market, you're still at risk here, right? I think long term, since the stock market is more mainstream, there are more protections for consumers, that is always going to have a bigger market share. Okay. There isn't less risk. Yes and no. Yes, there's maybe less risk of you being scammed, but there's still a risk of you being scammed, if you feel me. In crypto, assume everybody that is trying to talk to you in crypto, assume they are a scammer first. All right. Everybody. And like, I can tell you that I have one person and myself working on full time to delete scammer comments from YouTube, from my YouTube channel. I am bringing on another person because it is a full-time job for one person. So if I have 2 or 3 people doing it, it's a lot easier, but people often fall for scammers reaching out to somebody else. I can tell you that I had a post on Twitter that my team posted, earlier today. I saw a few people that I know personally in the crypto space, like, why would they be liking this post, right? And I went to click on who, their profile, and it was 2 different scammers pretending to be 2 different influencers that I know. And so it's just crazy stuff. Let's see here. Raise Sensei. Hey mate, what are your thoughts on ZBIC? Did we just go through this? I think we just did. What's up, Raise? ZBIC. Is that the same thing as the one we just talked about? ZEBEC. Could be different. ZEBEC. ZEBEC. ZEBIC. Oh no, this can't be right. ZEBIC. I don't know. Is that the right ticker? I can't find it on DexCraner. I don't know, man. Any news on ICP or Jasmine? Not the right channel for those two, man. I don't research those. I couldn't give you an update if I wanted to. All right. What's up, sis? Cute dog. Cute dog. Love it. Let's see here. If the US government was Satoshi, the mystery Bitcoin creator, how could that change the reason, or could that be the reason why US pushes Bitcoin so much? No, Humble. Listen, if the US government was behind Bitcoin, it will be a 3-letter agency. Okay. And, I don't know what everybody's feelings are about 3-letter agencies, but I can tell you that unless you're in America, like if you are in a country where those 3-letter agencies are, doing something to your country to, change one thing or another, I can tell you that some people are not going to be super thrilled that it is an American government agency behind Bitcoin. I can tell you that would make the market extremely fragile. I think the whole dream, right, what behind Bitcoin, or the whole idea, the libertarian idea, is that it's created by the people for the people, right? And if it was created by the government for the people, well, did we just recreate, the current monetary system that we have that is a problem with inflation and money printing and all this abuse? I don't know. It's going to be pretty tricky. Still trying to figure out how BitTensor is more than Solana. It's probably circulating supply, but let's take a look, Rob. I mean, always a good question, man. So we're talking about Solana. Okay, Solana has an infinite supply, brother. So check us out. See this max supply here? Oh, here. Sorry. See this? Let me make sure I'm sharing the right screen. I am sharing the right screen. Okay, you see this max supply here of infinite, which means infinite. There is no max supply. The total circulating supply of Solana currently is about 600 million, just below 600 million. If we take a look at Tau, we're talking about 8.6 million tokens. So, I mean, God, hold on, 600 million. Let me see what the difference is here. 600 million divided by 8.6. It's a 69x difference in total supply. That is why the price is different, if that makes sense to you. Does that help you, Big Mouth Rob? Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate you explaining that too, man. Yeah, I learned the hard way about Cosmos. Takes a month to unstake. Exactly, Ben. Exactly, man. I think a lot of people Like this is part of the reason like I get up here and I do these chats. I don't make any money on these chats. You know, I don't monetize these chats. I do it because like I've made a lot of mistakes in the crypto market getting to where I am today. And if I can help people not make those same mistakes that I made, they can be even more successful than I've been in the crypto space. And that's powerful. And that's powerful. And that's the reason I share, you know, good stories. I share bad stories. I'm hoping that you get something out of it and, you know, you can do crazy stuff. Big Mouth Rob, what's the tokenomics between the two? Yeah, it's usually that. We did talk about that. Do I know anything about the coin Layer 3? So is that a real coin? Layer 3? Let's take a look. Oh, I mean, Layer 3s, you have Layer 3 networks that are being built out. I didn't know there was a token called Layer 3. Layer 3, very promising project. Is this a real person? 702 followers. Oof. I get a little nervous when I see those types. Layer 3 XYZ. Is this it? AK? Let me know if this is it, AK, and I'll go back to it if it is. Moonacy not working? What is not working? The website? Really? I mean, it works when I pull it up. It works when I pull it up. I don't know. Let me do this. Hold on. I'm going to share a video with you in the chat. In the description of this video is the Moonacy link if you're interested in taking a look at it. That's if you want to support me in the channel by using my link. You don't have to do that. I would appreciate it, but you don't have to do that. Yeah, so this is a scammer. Can you ban this person? Ban this person, please. Let me see if I can do it. Ban user. There we go. Perfect. Sorry, I guess I could have done it. All right. All right. Hey, everyone who says XI, just ban them all. Ban them all. Man, we're getting hit with the bots, yo. We're getting hit with the bots. It's actually very fulfilling to ban somebody. Like life goals. Life goals. Yep. Trolls and scammers. I know. It would be nice if YouTube would do something about it. But that might be asking too much. I don't know. They make billions of dollars. Oh, look at you. Get to ban you too. This is fun. Let's see here. Moonacy did not pull up. I don't know what's going on with that. I can get it to work on my side. Maybe it's the browser that you're using, Jonathan. Let's not spend too much time on it. If you're interested, there's a video that I just posted. If you want, in that video description should be a link that works. If that doesn't work, Moonacy, I think it's moonacy.com. Let me see. Hold on. Where is it? Moonacy.io. Man, these people are just, I'd love to, I just wish there was like somebody that you could rely on to go after scammers. Like if we put death penalty on these people, or if we put, I don't know, something very drastic, I think people would be a whole lot less scammy. Sensei, if you want, I will help ban. Yeah, here, Curtis, I got you, man. Let me pull up YouTube on my side and I'll give you access, Curtis. Give me 1 second. I mean, Ariana does a really fantastic job, but let me see here. All right, hold on. Let me see, where's Curtis at? Let's see, hide this person. Where are you at, Curtis? Let me see here. All right, Curtis. There you go. I had you as a moderator. Should be able to help. Scammers do suck. You're right, Lou. Facts. I mean, they just keep coming, dude. I don't know what to tell you. I just like they can create accounts, scam accounts really quickly. And this is what I'm saying. This is a full-time job. But we're banning them. We're banning them pretty good. So anyways, what other questions we got, guys? Man, I would pay good money for someone to hunt these people down. Really good money. Like if you're interested and you have the if you have the power to do it, get at me. It's very distracting. It's yeah. Thanks, John. Good point, John. Good point. Fucking bots are stupid. They're whoever's running the bots are upset because we're actively banning everything now on the channel, and they're not happy. So yeah, we looked at this Raz. I mean, low liquidity, man. Wasn't it just a scam? Like, I don't know, man. We're not really going to talk about it too much here. It's AI. See, like, why isn't there AI to combat? Like, why are the scammers got better tools than the creators? It's crazy shit, dude. Hassam, it's a scam. It's a scam. It's a scam. They're all scams. All right, man. I'm getting just tired of this shit. I'm just going to fucking end here today. This is exhausting. Let's see here. Am I better off buying a hardware wallet or can I use Cracking Crypto Wallet? I have no idea what Cracking Crypto Wallet is. Why wouldn't you just use like Coinbase Wallet or Trust Wallet? Like a well-known wallet. What is Cracking Crypto Wallet? You're always safer with a cold storage wallet, like a Ledger or a Treasure. Always safer. Let's see here. I have some advice. You can block words on YouTube settings. We do that. We do that. That's why they moved the scam. That's why they are changing the scam. We do it. I have 2 people who's dedicated to doing that, and they do it every day. It's just new scams being created every day and posting about it. But thank you for that. Thank you. I appreciate it, Curtis. Thank you, man. My first cold wallet. Yeah, guys, listen. Layer 3 is on Coinbase. Hold on. Let's see if we can find what you're talking about here. Scarface. Layer 3. I mean, like okay, so hold on. What is the explanation point here? A self-reported market cap? Let's see here. Is there a website? Is this it? I mean, layer 3 is just, when you have an additional layer on a layer 2. Base is a layer 2. So any additional layer that's added to base would be a layer 3. So there are layer 3s that have been out for quite some time. Actually, there's a big one in the gaming space, XAI, XAI. We actually got into those nodes a long time ago. Made a good money. XAI Games is a layer 3 on Arbitrum. It's a layer 3 on Arbitrum. There you go. I was like, where's XAI on? I thought it was on base. It's on Arbitrum. Remember XAI Games, guys? Made some good money on this one. Trevor, price predictions, nobody knows, man. Nobody knows. If like it all depends on what the multiplier effect is. I mean, if we get $6 billion, you're going to see XRP, you know, $10, $15, $20 probably. Here, let's take a look here. Let's take a look. All right. Let's share this. All right, we're here using a multiplier effect of 50x, 100x, and 200x if 5 billion in value was added XRPL through ETFs. What would be the total market cap of XRP as well as what would be the price? Multiplier. Let's see. We're calculating. It's building. Hold on. All right. Let's see if it came up with the right stuff here. Here you go. It all depends on what the multiplier effect is, right? It can vary. If it's a 50x, you're looking at like a $6. If it's a 200x, you're looking at a $20 XRP. And if you don't know what the multiplier effect is, I've put out multiple videos on this and I talk about it often. And I think what's his name just put out a video on it too, Zach Rector. So it's not crazy. Yeah, Decent, Treasure, good wallets. Pro tip, buy directly from the source. Don't go through Amazon. Don't go through a marketplace where somebody else could be selling you those goods. Make sure that you are going to that website. We'll see what else you guys got. What exchange has the best bonuses when you make large deposits? Andrew, so, you know, actually I have, like, how large are you talking about? Because I'm working with Apex. Apex is a DEX, apex.exchange. Let me see if I have that information here. Hold on. Where is it? It might be in the description of this video, actually. Hold on. Is it? No, it's not. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, hold on. So if you, in the description of this chat, there is a Apex, a link for Apex 30,000 bonus, depending on how much money you deposit. Take a look at Apex. They've been around since 2017. They are pretty well-known DEX, got a lot of features, pretty cheap to buy and sell on there too, and pretty good fees and things like that. Let's see here. Concert Man says, hello, do you believe a major XRP crash is still imminent, possibly to $1? I mean, for XRP to crash to $1, the rest of the market would need to follow. XRP by itself is probably not going to crash by itself, but it could with the rest of the market. I think we're going into the slow months in summer, and I think you need to be careful. You need to be careful. I mean, personally, I'd love to see XRP below $1 because I could buy more, right? You know, when XRP goes, it'll probably be towards the end of the year, unless ETFs are approved in mass numbers later this month or next month, and that could explode the price. We just don't know how that's all going to work out. Is Cosmos a good place to invest? I mean, I've heard a lot of really great things about the ecosystem. I've also heard good things about the technology, but I don't personally invest in Cosmos. And so I would probably have you go and maybe get some information from a channel that really understands Cosmos and the best ways to make money in those ecosystems. That's probably, like, if I were in your shoes, that's what I would be doing. I'd be going to the person that has the best and up-to-date information in the Cosmos space. You know, I went all in on your mama coin. Probably gonna lose, my brother. You know, and you know that too. You're being sarcastic. Thumbs up for Sensei. Appreciate you, preacher. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. For UK, Kraken is great. I've heard really good things about Kraken. You know, I've heard good things about Kraken. I've heard some good things about Uphold. I just have never had, I've never had the need to use those exchanges, but I've heard multiple people say good things about them. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. I think he's joking. I think he's joking. Is Cryptoneer's link not working? Page doesn't open. I'm in the UK. Does that matter? So, Mark, we're actually redoing some stuff with Cryptoneers right now. If you're interested, people sign up on WAP. So here, let me just show you this really quickly. WAP.com/Cryptoneers. If you're interested in signing up, this is where you would do it. But yeah, Cryptoneers.com is under construction. But yeah, go take a look. We'd love to have you in the community, Mark. Definitely. Trevor, good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. Appreciate the kind words. Dulce says she lost 5K today. Dulce, I feel your pain. Can I ask what happened? You all right? Losing 5K in a day is tough. It's really tough. I hope you make it back tomorrow really soon. Oh, nice. Thank you so much. It got all the escapees. I know without Ariana, I'd be in trouble. I'm glad I have both of you now. That's I feel good about this. Scrap that working now. All right, Mark. Good to hear it, man. But make sure, you know, if you are thinking of signing up, you sign up on WAP, not on Cryptoneers. Just giving you that context. We moved all of our payment infrastructure to WAP. It's just a whole lot easier. It saves us money to manage it, and we can, you know, do a little bit more when we engage with the community. So WAP is the place that you want to take a look at. Buy. I mean, if you believe in the overall health of the market, like if you believe the crypto market is here to stay and you believe that the crypto market is only going to increase in price, whether we go down another 10, 20, 30% and then go up, regardless, right? We are going to be going up. We just don't know when that exactly is going to happen. If you look at past cycles, usually summertime has been a little quiet. People are traveling. Not as many people are paying attention to the details. And usually kind of like as we get into October, sometimes even September, things can start popping off. September is usually kind of a hit or miss month, though. I know because it's my birthday. And I'm always like, big win for my birthday. And it's like, oh, maybe not. Ariana saved the day. Absolutely. How am I better now with surgery? So yeah, I had surgery. Yesterday was 2 weeks. So I got my stitches out Wednesday. That kind of hurt. I won't lie. That I was kind of struggling yesterday to like walk around, and Wednesday I was hurting. But I have another 10 weeks. I need to take it easy. And so once I get through those 10 weeks, I got to do like physical therapy and all that stuff. But I should be back to normal. I did miss all of this when I was down for those, you know, was for that week. Demand effect on XRP to give it an extra push. I mean, you know, I think we've had a whole lot of really good news very quickly for Ripple. And, you know, I think when you take a look at other assets in the crypto space, you really don't have as much going for it as, you know, I think like if I had to invest $10,000 in the market today and I wanted to take lower risk than like investing it in maybe like the top 1,000, I would probably put money into like the top 20, you know, maybe like Cardano and XRP, Algorand, HBAR. Like those are 4 assets I think are going to do still really well in this bull market. And those will come with less risk than putting it into, you know, meme coins or those types of things, right? Like if you're okay with only doing a few 100%, maybe 1,000% gains this cycle, the risk is less in those assets. If you don't mind more risk, which you could lose everything, people will go to like AI tokens, or they will go to gaming, or they will go to real world assets. we just had that total collapse of Mantra, just a few days ago. So, there's going to be opportunity for other real world asset projects to come along for people to get into. And so that might be a good time to be looking at that. So a lot of different things that you could do depending on what your risk appetite is. Let's see here. Crypto Sensei, what's the trigger in your opinion to set the ball in motion for the market? Well, I think people are very concerned and worried about tariffs. I don't think we can really, explode the market when you don't have the appetite to invest in the markets. Right now, you are seeing, billions and trillions flowing out of the stock market, the bond market, and of course, billions flowing out of the crypto market. To reverse that, we need to have a reverse in policy, and that'll come either with a total deal on tariffs, and that will come with quantitative easing coming back, money printing. I mean, that will come with higher inflation down the line, 12, 18 months down the line. We will have higher inflation. And when you mix tariffs with money printing, that is a recipe for disaster. But, we don't know what's going to happen day to day. That's what we would need to fix. You need to get rid of this tariff war and come to a conclusion so people know what is going on. Because when people are investing, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months down the line, they need some of these conditions to be, what they're looking for to put money in, right? You just saw an enormous sell-off of some of the biggest financial institutions were selling, like Charles Schwab, JP Morgan Chase. All of these guys were dumping stock just a few months ago. And you can see why. They were concerned about what's happening right now. And we would need all of that to reverse and go the other way and making money cheaper to access. Because right now, people don't have extra money to invest in the market. But if people could go out and borrow money for 1% or 2%, that would fuel a bull market. And I think that's what people are waiting for. I had hip surgery. I had a tear in my hip, my left hip. And I think I need a complete replacement on my right side. But yeah, I have like a genetic bone condition, bone disease, they would call it. And I'm sure you probably heard of something called the bone spur. I have bone spurs all over my body. And so most of it are like in my legs and my arms and my back, but I have like a bunch on my hips too. And those cause pain. And so they went in to fix a tear and kind of take a look at what they could do with the bone spurs. But we're chilling. We're here. My job is pretty easy, right? I go from the couch to my office, to bed to sleep. I don't think I've left the house. The only time I left the house in the last, 2.5 weeks was to go to the doctor's on Wednesday. So, thank God for this job so I can, pay my bills. But what's interesting? Somebody came into the chat maybe a few weeks ago, and the person was saying, do you make money from YouTube, right? And I was like, yeah, I do. And, they said kind of something about, it was like a negative thing about making money, right, on YouTube. And I tried to explain to the person that, I started this channel in 2022. Before this channel, I had a Kryptonaires channel. And on the Kryptonaires channel, I interviewed a lot of new CEOs and project heads for a lot of brand new projects. Okay. And I started this channel in September of 2022. Okay. From September 2022 till November of 2024, I lost money every month to run the channel. I'll repeat that. For over 2 years on my YouTube channel, I lost money. Okay. The how I lost money was I need an editor, right? Because I can't research the content, film the content, and edit the content. I'd be dead. And then of course I have a thumbnail designer, and the editor and the thumbnail designer work together closely to, so I can just go make the content, and then they take my ideas for titles and things like that. And they sometimes do what they want. And, that's unfortunate, but, I lost money for over 2 years running this channel. And if you bring in Cryptonaires, I actually lost money for 4 years on YouTube before I actually turned a profit. So just some interesting pieces of information. People don't realize that unless you're doing, 500,000 or 1 million views a month on YouTube, you're probably losing money. All right, Jen with the 199. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Jen. Is that a picture of a really cute dog? Let me see, because I think it is, but I want to be double sure. Let me see. Is this a cute dog? Let me see. What is Jen rocking? It is a cute dog. Oh, I love that, Jen. Thank you so much. And if you don't know, guys, and women, thank you so much for being here. Any donations to my channel go to my dog Luna. And so I really appreciate this. 199 goes a long way to get her favorite treats. So I appreciate you, Jen. Thank you so much. Yeah, Jonathan, this is actually something that they've been talking about, reevaluating the gold certificates and buying Bitcoin with that new money. I think this is a unique idea. I think it's better than trying to tariff Americans and using that to buy Bitcoin, because like right now you already have this view of crypto, right? You have, God, what is it, like 270 million adults in the United States, where 55 million of those own crypto. So 1 out of like 6 people, 1 out of 6 adults owns crypto. Okay. The rest of the people either think crypto is, a scam, or they think crypto is, too new for them to invest real money into, right? There's a lot of uncertainty. And when you're telling, the people that might not be certain about something that you're going to tax them extra to buy the thing that they don't like, that is just a recipe for disaster, in my personal opinion. I could be totally wrong. So I think reevaluating gold certificates, if they're able to do that to buy Bitcoin, would be a better play, a better PR play too, than just taxing Americans. Because like I was frustrated, and I've made my frustrations well known, that I thought this was about supporting American companies and American blockchains, and it was all this roar about America first, America this. And if you take a look at Bitcoin, I asked this question to Bo Hines, and of course Bo Hines was pretty quiet, but I asked him, like, what American company was behind Bitcoin? Crickets, right? Bitcoin, we just don't know the origins. And so it wouldn't make sense for us to tax Americans to support this digital asset that has nothing to do with America. I just thought that was didn't love that. Appreciate you, Jen. Thank you, John. I really appreciate you being here, John. Been a nice addition to the crowd here. Thank you so much, man. Let's see what else here. Let me just a lot of comments here. What's that? Nick's here. American businesses pay the tariffs, so they have to buy XRP to pay their tariffs. So, I think there's still people trying to understand who pays tariffs, and that's cool. This is, I've sometimes, like, I get frustrated because I'm like, how do these people not know this? But it's like, people, if people are not taking the extra time to learn about crypto and blockchain, chances are they're not taking extra time to learn about the economy and what tariffs are. So the person who's importing the goods to America, so whatever country they're coming from, when they hit the shores, they're paying the tariff. So, if it's a clothing brand company or whatever it is, they're paying their tariff, whether it's 10%, 25% or higher, right? And then those costs are pushed to the consumer, which is me and you. And so some people will say, Sensei, they don't have to push the costs to us. Fair. That's a fair point. But what I would say against that point is that, let's say you run a business, okay? And in your business, the margins are 10 to 20%, which means for every $10 that you sell of something, you keep, $1 to $2, okay? Now, a 25% tariff is put on the goods that you're selling. Your profit margin used to be 10 to 20%, but now you're paying a 25% tariff on top of that. So are you going to sell those same goods, whatever the goods may be, for a loss? Are you going to lose money to sell those goods? If that happens, how long do you think you could stay in business for? Losing money every month. Because you have payroll, you have people that rely on you for work that need to be paid. You have your suppliers. Everybody has to be paid. Okay. You can't take the loss yourself. So that cost is pushed on to consumers. All right. I'm glad we had a chance to air out tariffs and all that stuff. So I hope this helps you better understand. Now, I don't think it's crazy to recertify gold certificates if they're able to do that and create, several $1 billion of new capital. I would say, hey, okay, let's put 10% into Bitcoin or 20% into Bitcoin, and then let's support American companies, because that's what we're trying to do here. I thought was support American businesses, not support, supporting Bitcoin is supporting a select few millionaires and billionaires. Like we're right back to the same thing where the middle class gets left behind and only a select few people make even more money. And I don't think that's what we're trying to do here. At least that's not what I would like to see happen. I want to see everybody benefit. But the problem with everybody benefiting is if you are not in their debt system, right? You being in their system, debt system, credit cards, mortgages, all of these things, right? Some of these things like a mortgage, very helpful. But when you're young, you get a credit card and you go out and you shop till you drop. And then you're like, oh man, this credit card's maxed out. What do I do? Oh, I'll get another credit card. And you keep doing that. And before you know it, you find yourself in debt, $20,000, $30,000. And what do you have to do to pay this debt? Because if you don't pay your debt, they're calling you, they're sending you a letter, they're threatening you. You got to pay the debt. So you have to go to work. And it might not be the job that you want to work at, but you have to pay this down, right? So I don't know. I think there's some things that need to be played out here, but did you see that, bro? China and their high brand end purses. Did you see that? I was talking about this earlier, Crude. I think you were here. Where you're seeing like it's kind of believable if you ask me. It's kind of believable. Let's see what Knowledge Seeker said. Satoshi is a CIA. There's been some let's take a look at that. Actually, there's been some stuff I've seen about that, right? So let's go to Twitter. All right, let me see if I'm showing you the right screen here. Okay. Bitcoin plus CIA. Yeah, here you go. So, my thing is, if this was made true, like if this was in fact real, where the NSA and the CIA or whatever three-letter agency created Bitcoin, I just don't think Bitcoin, it's right now, Bitcoin has kind of a mystique about it. It's exotic from normal, trading and what people are, people that are kind of bored trading stocks and bonds and stuff like that, like Bitcoin, because it's like a new alternative to investing. And I think if you're, because it's trust, right? If in fact the CIA or the NSA created Bitcoin, can they get into your wallet? Can they see, can they transfer the Bitcoin? Like what kind of control would they have? I think that is like, that would be the immediate concern. And I think you would see just an enormous dump in Bitcoin. I think that would kind of put the nail in the coffin, but I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. Crypto is a government psyop in order to make way for a new way to entrap people. Well, fair point. But like, is it a step in the right direction? Right? You being your own bank, you controlling assets that somebody, See, when you're buying stocks and bonds, you're buying them through a broker. Okay. Very difficult to buy stocks and bonds just out of thin air. So you have to go to like a third party to do that. With crypto, you can be that, you don't need this third party. So, we'll have to see. Rolex was exposed in China. Well, that sucks. That doesn't make me feel good about my Rolex that I have. Thanks, preacher. Appreciate you, bro. Oh my goodness. Hold on. I'm trying to read some of these comments. Crypto Sensei, my pup is named Luna as well. She's 12-year-old mixed lab. I rescued 11 years ago. You are a saint. Dog people are my people. I love dog people. It's a Rolex Kappa. You're bad. Some need third-party crypto brokers. You're making some really good points. I read through some of your other comments above too. You made some good points there, Lou. Fair enough, man. Anything I say, you can have the opposite opinion, or you can, shoot a hole in it. It's totally fine. Right now you can go out and you can put your hard-earned cash into Bitcoin or XRP or whatever it is that you think has a future, right? I would rather invest all of my money in the crypto market. Even if I lose 90% of the time, if I win and I win big 10% of the time, 15% of the time, I think people are playing the numbers game here, which I totally understand. Yeah, I know. And it was created right after the financial crisis. I know. Trust me, I know. I've put way too much time into understanding all this stuff, and I wish I could delete some of it out of my brain. All right, we got any other questions, my friends? I got another maybe like 15 minutes left in me before I crash down. So what else you got? How about XCN? We're not going to talk about XCN, Living Flow. Like, it's brought up almost every chat. Half the people think it's a scam. Half the other people don't. I don't know either way, so we're not going to talk about it. But I appreciate you asking. Let's see here. The Giving Project says it's a one world order and governments want to keep it that way because we understand there is a hierarchy. I'm not saying this is good or bad, but it is within reason. I appreciate you sharing that, man. What's Lou saying here? Lou says, for me, it's about custody. I have enough people holding value for me. I want to hold value I can get my hands on. I love that, Lou. Well said, man. Well said. Hey, really quickly, Nick, did you see in Cryptonaires I posted about a project? I just wanted to make sure that if you're in Cryptonaires, if you're a paying member of Cryptonaires, and you can hear me speak right now, I posted something new in the Cryptonaires Discord. Go check that out. Okay? Might be something. I did buy it. Go check it out. One of our long-standing members put together a AI agent, and they're bullish on it. So I shared everything that they shared with me. I need to go research it. It was sent to me like 5 minutes before I had to come on here, but I wanted to at least make sure that you knew about it and it was there. I might bring it up here in about 10 or 15 minutes. I wanted to try to give people enough time to, if they were going to buy it before I brought it up in this chat. Let's see here. Who are you says, how long could XRP last if all predictions came true? What? It'll run out eventually. Or will they create more? Okay, so you can't create more. You cannot create more. 100 billion units pre-mined or pre-minted or whatever it is you want to call it. Cannot create more. Now, I think you might be talking about the burn rate. Even if transactions skyrocket, it would take hundreds of years to go through the burn rate. I don't have the exact math because it's all going to depend on how much volume, how many transactions, and it's impossible to know at this time. But I think that would be a fun video to explore. It's just a little difficult to find exact pieces on it, but like Ripple was created, or XRP was created, what, 2012? And, you've only burned 12 or 13 million tokens in almost a decade and a half. It's not a lot, right? Not a lot at all. Can you update? Hey, Frank, thanks for asking. Great question. I think, are you asking, are Japanese banks actually using XRP? I think that's what you're asking. Can you just verify? That way I don't ramble on about something that you're not interested in. Oh, okay, cool. Nick, you got it? All right, cool, man. Did you see it before, Nick, or did you just hear me talking about it and then you're going to go look at it? I kind of want to bring it up, and just see what it's about. I don't think there is even a website yet. It just launched on Pump Fund. I think I posted it at like 40 something thousand market cap. It's very low. Shit. John says, shit. All right, let's see here. Byron Sanchez. What's up, Byron? The BRICS will do anything to counter the digital USD and will go into a gold-backed stablecoin. The US is using stablecoins for the reserve currency. Why not XRP as liquid gold for the US and REL USD? Okay, hold on. There's a few really interesting things that you said here. I just want to make sure we touch on all of it. So let's take the first part. The BRICS will do anything to counter the digital USD. So you're absolutely right. BRICS, especially China, are doing everything in their power right now to combat the USA, including selling treasury bonds, right? The biggest holder of American debt is Japan. Second biggest holder of American debt is China. Okay. So, obviously, we're not big fans of Russia. China and Russia both have questionable currencies, though. Like, the problem the BRICS countries face is, what currency do they trust, right? Because if you're looking at Brazil, Russia, South Africa, Brazil, Russia, India, South Africa, and China, right? If you brought those five parties to a meeting and you said, okay, we're going to get rid of the US dollar, but what currency at this table are we going to use? Are you going to use the yuan, which they just basically doubled how much yuan is in circulation? They just printed, 2 trillion US dollars. Like, is that the best choice? Is Russia's currency that has fallen through the floor the best choice? Like, I think they have a problem with deciding on what currency that they can decide on. So that's why I think a digital currency or a new currency, like you said, backed by gold, could be the answer. I think what you said there is spot on. The US is using stablecoins for the reserve currency. So hold on a second. So Scott Bessent, Treasurer of the United States, has stated stablecoins are going to be a key vital piece of America's national security future, which means you have all of these countries now dumping treasury bonds, US debt. Who is going to buy it? Like, who's going to be on the other end buying it, right? If you have a market, you need to have buyers and sellers, not just one way or another, because that's a lopsided market. So, it is an issue that they are now having to address. And a good way to combat maybe the selling of it is through stablecoins, because most of these stablecoins are backed up by securities, which are usually treasury bills. All right. Appreciate you sharing that, man. Thank you so much. Let's see what else we got here. We got $20 gift. Kevin, where is this at? Kevin. Oh my God. Let me read this first. Thank you so much. Why nobody sends love to the sensei when he helps you make money? I appreciate you, man. Yet you donate to YouTube family channels reacting to Starbucks or fight or something. His dog deserves more than his. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me get Luna so she can thank you. Hold on. There she is. Hold on. Come here. We got a $20 donation. That's big treats for you. That's good treats for you. Here. You okay? You okay? Yes, you got $20. You a big spender. Yes? You excited about $20? High five. Can you do high five? Oh, too low. Too high. Luna knows all the kinds of tricks, right, VP? Thank you so much, Kevin. I really appreciate you. All right, can you go be good? We're almost done. We're almost done. I know, we're almost done. Thank you, Kevin. I really appreciate it, man. Kevin's a rock star. All right, let me scroll back up now that we addressed that. I really do appreciate it, Kevin. Like, really, it's a huge help. Thank you. Luna does thank you. I noticed a lot of adoption, no price change other than down. Are we talking about XRP or are we talking about the crypto market? You got to give me a little more context if you want me to answer that. So Frank says, last I read, Japan was transitioning to XRP this past February. So Frank, okay, yeah, I'm glad you brought this back up, Frank. Thank you. I get sidetracked a little bit. It's the ADHD in me. It just kind of goes, whoop. Sometimes I completely forget about something. Like my wife will ask me something and I'll be like mid conversation and then I'll start thinking about something else and I'll totally forget what we were talking about. And then it like gets further and further. The more I try to concentrate on what I was talking about, it's just like gone. So thank you. Now I got to come back to the Japan. So I've seen a lot of, I don't know if you'd call it reporting, speculation. So there's some truths and there are some things that I might have an issue with here. So the truths are that there is a large share of Japanese banks that have not only tested XRP, but will adopt and have XRP as part of their infrastructure. Now, will those banks decide to use XRP on the same day? That is hard for me to believe that like there's like a secret chat group where they're just going to say go and everybody starts doing it, right? Like it's hard for me to believe that. There very well could be. I just don't, that'd be kind of strange. So I do think that Japanese banks are a little bit further ahead than US banks. They've already got like their policy and all that stuff that they need. But I don't know if you're going to get 80% of any banking systems to start using one thing on one given day. I think it'll be a slow burn. But there's no facts. There's nothing that I could put in front of you and saying, hey, this is what they're actually doing, because there's hundreds of banks. I think there's 200 different banks in Japan. So, obviously there's different branches of those banks, but like Sumitomo and FMUFG, there's all of these different, like Bank of America, Chase, these brands have banks all over the United States, right? And so there's different branches. So I think there's probably thousands of banks, but there's 200 main institutions, and a large part of those institutions have either already tested XRP or prepared to have it in their infrastructure. All right. Oh man, just seeing that orange, Kevin, just made my heart. I appreciate you. Made my heart like skip a beat. Luna knows exactly what's going on. Luna knows. Luna's really smart. She's really smart. Sensei, you think ETFs on XRP will pass this coming summer? Well, Jen, I know there's some people speculating. Actually, you know what? I think this document that I showed you earlier, hold on, let me see if I can pull this back up. Give me 1 second. Here, this one. Does this has a filing date, right? And then here are the deadlines, right? So some of these deadlines have passed, right? But some of them are coming up, right? So let's see here. Solana. Here's XRP right here. XRP. There doesn't look like there's any dates on these, which is kind of strange, but I know that there's already been one XRP ETF already pushed through and approved. So I can't imagine the rest of these to keep a fair market will be too far behind. I think this is more of a over the next few weeks than like the next 6 months. I think this will happen over the next maybe like 3 to 6 weeks. I think we're going to get more and more, but it's very difficult to know the exact dates on these things. And if because when these things are filed, if something is misfiled or misspelled, that could kick it all the way back. So, but should be soon. Shouldn't be like 2026. Should be 2025 in the next few months, give or take. My Luna is 100-pound black lab mix. Oh my goodness, that is a big dog. You know the reason we got Luna Well, partly because I like when you see her puppy face, man, it was hard to say no there. But I didn't really want to pick up gigantic poop, and since I'm home all day long with Luna, it was kind of like, my decision, I guess. Well, it was both of our decisions. But let me see if I could find her puppy photo. It's a really good puppy photo. Oh my God. Luna's on this thing kick now about oh yeah, here, look. How can you say no to that? Like, how can you say no? She's so cute. Oh, here. This is like OG Luna. This is when we bought Luna. This is what she looked like. Man. She's so cute. Anyway. And then here, this is Luna and I working. All right. Let's see what else we got here. We just crossed the 2-hour mark here, so let's wind down with some good stuff. Shout out to Oscar Ramos. You like Oscar's channel? Nice, man. I know he does a lot of XRP content. Seems to have a good head on his shoulders. I don't really watch too much, but heard a lot of good things. Oh, thank you, Leanne. I appreciate you. I hope you're doing well, Leanne. Let's see here. John says, as a Canadian, thank you for welcoming me. I love the community. John, listen, I actually really I like people from Canada. There was somebody that came to visit from Canada to Hawaii and asked if I, would go to lunch, and just the nicest people. And so, I hope all this drama is over between our two countries, because I think at the end of the day, we've been neighbors for quite a long time, and we miss you guys. I hope you guys, don't shy away from visiting, all the states, right? There's some states, of course, maybe that you don't visit, but I think the governor of California was trying to reach out to Canadians saying, come visit California. We're not all the same. I thought that was funny. Yeah, Canadians are awesome. Most all Americans like Canadians. That's very true. I don't know if I know anybody that's like, they don't like a certain, whatever. Love from Pakistan. Your content is genuine, bro. Is it Omar? I think it's Omar, right? Anyways, regardless, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate your kind words, and thank you for joining us. Is it late or early there? I don't know. What time is it in Pakistan? Let's find out. Versus Hawaii time. I'm actually interested to see what time it is there. It is, oh my goodness, it is 5:35 a.m. on Saturday. So it's the next day, like 15-hour difference. Wow. Crazy. Oh yeah, 5:30 a.m. See, I just had to wait for you to say something. Thank you, man. Appreciate you for being here. Yeah, so some of you guys are up late, and listen, I really appreciate you being here. All right, so let's do this last round of questions, and then we'll call it a day, and we'll meet back up on Tuesday, same time. I try to maybe go through 45 minutes, maybe an hour worth of news, and then answer your questions for an hour. I do appreciate you spending this time with me, and it really is an honor to grow and learn with you. I know that some of the things that I say, you might not agree with everything that I say, but just know that it comes from a good place, and I'm trying to better understand the world at the same time you are, and I learn a lot from you too. So thank you guys so much. Melbourne, Australia, man, we got some people. I watch Oscar Ramos to calm me down on my XRP, man. Who is like, I get that you guys are here and you like my content, but who else outside of this channel do you think provides you good XRP content? I'm genuinely interested to know. We've heard about Oscar Ramos, but let me know in the comment section who else you guys like, because I'm very interested to check it out. Because like Crypto Eerie, Jake Claver, Brad Kimes, there's just a lot of really great people that I've learned a lot from in the space too. Mickle, yeah, Mickle's got a pretty good channel too, man. Nice. Zach Rector, Jay Claver. Yeah. Mickle. You guys like Mickle, huh? Yeah. I'd say right now, like maybe like Mickle's channel and my channel have some pretty decent views as far as like people watching. And I think he's got a good head on his shoulder. Mickle works with Jake. Does he really? I didn't know that. And Cash. Nice. 3T Warriors. Nice. 24 hours crypto. Yeah, a lot of really good people in the space, man. Oh, we got a $10 donation. Some more goodies for Luna. Thanks for the great info. I appreciate you. Stockmo and Austin Hilton. All right. I got to check out some of these people too, man. Thank you so much. This is a huge help, man. Like Luna's got like $35. She's going to go crazy at the store this weekend. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Yeah. You cannot believe I heard of Zebek. I don't know. A lot of things I haven't heard of, I guess. Common Sense Crypto. All right. Fair enough. Let's see. Mr. Khan says, I watch all your videos. They are like XRP is going to skyrocket to 2,414 and BlackRock is going to inject trillions in 48 hours. Yeah, that's not accurate. You know, like, I know sometimes people get frustrated with some titles and things like that. You know, I tell the editor what I think the title should be, but often sometimes I'm asleep when some of the video and the content goes out. And so he will, you know, I often yell at, I must yell at Cass 3 or 4 times a week on titles. So I'm trying to make sure that he doesn't put anything stupid out there. The Boardroom. I haven't heard about that one. I haven't heard of that one, Lou. Money Bags. Is that a real person? Money Bags? Man. All right, guys, let's do this. Hey, it's Friday. I want you to have a fantastic weekend. I really want to thank you for spending this time with me. Especially, you know, your time is worth everything in the world, and it's an honor that you decide to spend some of it with me. I don't take that lightly. Thank you so much. I want you to have a fantastic weekend. Spend some time with someone that loves you, and let's reconvene on Tuesday, same time. I really appreciate everyone. All right. Thanks, guys. Aloha.